For example, you see these channels online that are moderately successful, and they have an idea, a message, and something changed, conditions changed that would materially affect their idea, but they don't tell you, because they know that if they do approach the change, they do it, they skirt the actual issue, and they slant it to such a way that it still fits into their main idea and their main channel idea, so that they can keep their subscribers. And you see this, and it's like, you know what? That's a compromise. And people do this because of money. People compromise over money because, you know, who wants to lose like 80% of their followers or 50% of their followers on a moderately successful channel? So that's one huge reason why we keep thinking we're gonna quit, because we won't compromise our principles of telling people the honest truth of the way things are. What are you doing?
Hello, Frank. Now, what were we going to talk about? Quitting? We're going to quit?
Well, a lot of people that I notice that get into the retire earlier, financial independence, or travel, nomading, or expat, whatever you want to call it, a lot of people end up YouTubing. And it just makes me think about that we've been on YouTube for over 10 years. And how many times have we said we're going to quit, we're going to quit, we're going to quit. This week we're going to quit. And it's just one of those things that you just keep doing because you just enjoy doing it. You know, it's one of those things you enjoy doing it. It's a connection with people. It is a way to stay connected when you, especially when you aren't really grounded in a community. Let's be clear. As people that like to travel around, that's the complete opposite of being grounded in a community with friends and neighbors and people that you know, and people that support one another and that kind of thing. And the idea of being online and having an online community is a good idea as far as that goes. But when we first started, you know, when we went abroad and we started doing videos, I mean, we were literally the first ones to do videos.
About Cuenca, Ecuador.
Well, we happened to be in Ecuador, but it could have been anywhere.
Right.
You know, we could have been who knows where, but we were in Ecuador and we were the first ones. But you look at, you know, like just 8 years later, and there's dozens and dozens and dozens of people on YouTube. And, you know, people make videos about how to start a YouTube channel, and they get all these views because people want to know how to be successful on YouTube. But, you know, doing this kind of thing is becoming like in the old days, where it's sort of a lottery system almost, where it gets to be the odds or probabilities, let's put it that way, of reaching success are, you know, they're just being so skewed towards people that make videos a certain way. And if you make videos a certain way, then you're making videos like everyone else does. And so right there, you're just, I mean, no matter how you slice it, the point is that it's getting harder and harder and harder to make it worth your time to make videos. And we've thought about, I mean, we had a time when we made 3 videos a week, then we went to 2 videos a week.
And now we're going to go to 1 maybe.
We say, well, what if we just make 1 video a week? You know, I mean, you end up making, you know, less than minimum wage, and actually, I mean, it's just like a a public service that you're doing to help people. That's all you really end up doing. And it's a way to connect and meet people and make friends and that kind of thing. So on the other hand, there are channels that are very, very, very successful, and there are channels that get more and more successful. So there's more and more millions and millions of people getting online throughout the world. And so your competition is literally global. It's no longer just people that are in your immediate area. It's global. I mean, you're really competing for people's attention all over the place. Normally, competition is, I mean, you can look at it both ways. I mean, it has a way of improving what's on offer, and then the consumer gets a better and better product. Unfortunately, when there's too much competition, that's when it gets to the point where it becomes a sort of almost lottery system. Sort of in the old days, you always met these people that were telling you about their novel that they're writing and that they never got published. They send it in and they always got rejected. And all these millions of people, but you always hear about that one person that hit it big writing this novel. And they had to go through this gatekeeper. Remember, back in the day, you had to go through a gatekeeper before the internet that either approved your manuscript or not. We've been writing for decades, and we were actually in that space during that time. And we've had big name publishers write back and say, your manuscript is great and it's an amazing story, but we can't publish it. Just because they want things that are going to appeal to the mass public. When you have this gatekeeper situation and they get to weed out everybody except for the ones that are going to appeal to the mass public, because that's where all the money is, then you have a sort of monetary discrimination going on, to where it doesn't mean that what you have to say is not valuable. And it may be extremely valuable to a niche, a particular niche. And so you think, well, okay, on the internet, that's what you want to do, is you want to have niche. But yet, here you are going through that gatekeeper once again. You didn't think you had a gatekeeper, but you really do have gatekeepers nowadays. The social media platforms are gatekeepers. And it's a question of, if you really enjoy what you're doing, you just keep doing it, you keep trying to improve it and but there's no way, I think, to my thinking, that if you have a very specific message, that you can water down your message somehow so that it can be appealing to the mass public. To me, that's sort of an adultery. It's like adulterating, like if you have a cream of carrot soup with full cream, but you keep adding water to it and you keep diluting it. Well, it's no longer the original product, okay? It's a diluted, watered down, and you can make that analogy with anything that you water down. So that's the challenge, is that, that you're constantly being at odds with the system and the way it's designed, with their gatekeeper, which is designed to only put your content in front of people only if you water it down and make it palatable to everyone, as many people as possible. Nowadays, thankfully, there are many other platforms coming on that people say, well, just get on this platform and on that platform. And that is something we're considering.
We already are on Brightian.
And so we're strongly considering and strongly pursuing the idea of doing this. But then again, you've got a situation where the more of this you do, the more it starts feeling like work. Okay?
Yum. Gracias.
For example, you see these channels online that are moderately successful, and they have an idea, a message, and something changed, conditions changed that would materially affect their idea, but they don't tell you, because they know that if they do approach the change, they skirt the actual issue, and they slant it to such a way that it still fits into their main idea and their main channel idea, so that they can keep their subscribers. And you see this, and it's like, you know what? That's a compromise. And people do this because of money. People compromise over money because, who wants to lose like 80% of their followers or 50% of their followers on a moderately successful channel. And for years we've seen that happen in like churches. Churches have been watering down their message over the decades and you know, many decades in the last century, just so they can keep appealing to the mainstream, and pretty soon the message is actually so perverted and watered that it's not really the message. And a lot of people are starting to see that now. So that's one huge reason why we keep thinking we're gonna quit, because we won't compromise our principles of telling people the honest truth of the way things are. And I know that people come to YouTube to feel good. A lot of people want to come to YouTube and be told things that make them feel good. And so a lot of times we're just really challenged to try to tell people the truth in such a way that makes them feel good. But the fact is that as adults, we need to kind of accept what is, and, you know, and just, you know, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't even say this on the video. That's the thing. It's like, okay, do you say this on the video, or do you just cut that out?
No, say it on the video. I'm keeping it in.
Can you cut this out and then just don't say that, just so you can get people to like your video and say, you know, oh, great video, you know, and yeah, you know, wonderful, you know. And just saying that, you know, there's a lot of challenges with being on YouTube and being on the internet nowadays, and especially on YouTube. But you know, if you enjoy what you do and you feel good about what you're telling people, and you can go to sleep at night knowing that you did good, then hey, you may just keep seeing us on YouTube, but be looking for us on other platforms too. And so, branching out on the gatekeeper idea, today we went to the notary, and behind the desk they were spraying down all the bills, the money. Each bill they were spraying it down with disinfectant. Nothing wrong with that idea. I mean, money's historically very filthy, but the idea that you know, that people are being corralled into having a gatekeeper in order to access their food, it's unlawful in Ecuador and probably many other countries. But the idea that people would be having to go through a gatekeeper for their sustenance, their food, and eventually their ability to earn, you know, I suspect it isn't going to lead to harmonious existence for humanity. Historically, it hasn't ended well when these things have been put into place. This is a slant on the chicken and rice. It's chicken and corn or hominy, and a sort of potato cake right here. Pretty good, actually.